Well, Bristol City are back in action this weekend in the Championship after the international break, and Coventry City are the visitors to BS3 this weekend. In a three-game hectic week for Bristol City, we'll be very much hoping this home game is the kickstart to a very positive week indeed for the Robins. Well, the form before the international break was undeniably not great. 3 defeats in the last 4, but with the very big caveat, the 2 of them were away from home and away to some of the big boys in this division, Leicester and Leeds, both relegated from the Premier League and competing fairly well in the Premier League for a long period of time. So that is a massive caveat as well. But the most disappointing one in there is probably the home defeat to Stoke, where we put ourselves in such a good position and just inevitably chucked it away. While the international break may have come at a good time for Bristol City, it came at a bit of a bad time for Coventry. They had been on a brilliant run of form up until that international break. 4 without a defeat and 2 wins in that period, 2 draws, a draw against Huddersfield, a draw against Norwich, where against Norwich especially, they really dominated that game. 2 really quite different victories. QPR away was much more dominant, and that home game against Blackburn was tight, but they managed to get the job done, and that's something we've seen from Mark Robbins' side over the seasons, and something they had in their locker last year when they got to the playoff final. This Coventry team is nothing like the team from last year, though. It's a completely new set of players. The 2 star players from last year, Gus Harmer and Victor Gyökeres, both out the door for big money. A lot of new players have come in, not even I can remember all of those players. Notable ones though, Ellis Sims, Haji Wright, ex-Bristol City player Jonah Silva's come in as well, Bobby Thomas, John Latabodier, Milan Van Evik. A lot of players have come in through the door, and it's just taken Coventry a bit of time to settle, get their feet under the table and get moving. And that last international break just came as a bit of a hindrance for the Sky Blues. Well, both teams sit on the equal number of points. Bristol City are 1 place below Coventry just because of goal difference. So this will be a very tight game, or it should be at least on paper. And I expect this to be quite competitive, quite a bit tense and a bit cagey perhaps. And the kind of anxiousness you kind of expect really after a 2-week gap, and kind of expectation around some of the clubs to go and win. First game back after the international break. So hopefully there's none of that. But I do expect it to be tight, I expect it to be competitive, and I expect both teams to be evenly matched as well. I think we can be a bit of a nuisance to play sometimes with a high energy style of play, making things uncomfortable for oppositions. And hopefully that results in this one as well, because I do think if we go at Coventry, we can definitely damage them in certain areas. As I said, they've not completely settled yet, so we need to be kind of taking advantage of that, see what we can do in that kind of situation. So if we can go and really attack that back through of Coventry, or destabilise that midfield and attack those wing backs, something of the sort, and just really use our threats, it's going to be really, really useful. But that would be easier with our star players, and unfortunately, a few of them will be missing for the weekend. Naki Wells, who's been kind of a regular now since Tommy Conway's injury, he'll not be available, but kind of with decent timing because Tommy Conway's now hopefully fully fit for start against Coventry. Jason Knight is out. Cal Naismith is out, so we'll have 1 fit centre-back at the football club, which is just mental. So I fully expect Cam Pring to move from left-back into left centre-back and Hayden Roberts to play at left-back. But I will get onto my predicted team in a minute. George Tanner is also out as well. So a back 4 that looked fairly settled at the start of the season with Tanner, Pring, Viner, Dickey. It's just looking very, very destable right now. I suppose perfect time to move on to the expected team news, in my opinion. Max in goal, Taylor Garner-Hickman to start at right back without George Tanner. Obviously, he's the only other option we have there at the moment. No Zach Viner, no Cal Naismith. We Rob Dickey and Cam Pring, which just is a bit mind-blowing at the moment. And Hayden Roberts at left back. In midfield, no Jason Knight, so I'd go with Joe Williams and I'd go with Matty James. Probably go with Andy Vyman in that 10 position, and that could raise again a few more doubts over whether he is able to kind of do the Jason Knight running for 90 minutes like Jason Knight does. But he will have to do with him. Andy Vyman, in my opinion, he will probably play tomorrow. Up top, Sykes on the right, Sam Bell on the left, and probably Tommy Conway up top to make his first start of the season. Well, as I said beforehand, I do expect this to be quite tight, expect this to be quite cagey, you know, both teams haven't played in 2 weeks, a bit more rust about them, and with the fact that we're at the moment a bit of a weakened side quite significantly with a number of our players not being available, that does also translate, in my opinion, into a pretty dull game. Still will be there though, and honestly, I can see this being a pretty evenly matched game. I can see it being a 1-1 draw. That is my score prediction. Let me know your score prediction down in the comment section below. I've gone with the draw, 1-1. Let me know in the comment section below your score predictions as well. So that is it for the match preview for the Coventry game. I will be there, so check out the matchday vlog afterwards. From Ashton Gate, we play Ipswich after Coventry as well, so the match preview and the matchday vlog and then the match review, that will be out as well. Thank you very much for watching this match preview. If you haven't enjoyed it, hit like. If you haven't already subscribed here, job still yourself for more Bristol City content in the future. Keep safe, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.